Am I the asshole for refusing to pay my friend back after destroying his property on accident? I recently got into a huge argument with my friend and I'm not sure if I'm the asshole or not. Here's what happened. A few days ago, my friend invited me over to his place for a small gathering with a few other friends. We were having a great time, but things took a turn for the worse when I accidentally knocked over a valuable antique vase that belonged to my friend's family. It shattered into pieces, and I could tell it was something of great sentimental value to him. Now, here's where the conflict arises. I immediately apologized profusely and acknowledged my mistake. My friend was understandably upset and demanded that I reimburse him for the vase, which he estimated to be worth a substantial amount of money. While I do feel bad about what happened, I flat out refused to pay him anything. My reasoning behind this decision is that accidents happen, and I believe it's unfair for him to ask me to cover the entire cost of the vase. I argued that it was his responsibility to safeguard his valuable possessions, especially during a gathering where accidents are more likely to occur. I also mentioned that I couldn't afford to pay such a significant amount. Since then, our friendship has been strained, and some of our mutual friends are telling me that I'm being unreasonable and that I should take responsibility for my actions. They believe I should reimburse him fully or at least offer to contribute toward the cost of the vase. However, I still feel like I'm not in the wrong here. So, the asshole, I need your judgment. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay my friend back for the antique vase that I accidentally broke? Should I reconsider my stance and try to make amends? I'm open to hearing your perspectives on this situation. Too long did not read. Accidentally broke my friend's valuable antique vase during a gathering, but I refused to pay for it because I believe accidents happen and he should have taken better care of his belongings. Now our friendship is strained, and I'm wondering if I'm the asshole in this situation. Update. I forgot to mention the cost of the vase. Friend told me it is around $3,000 $4,000 United States dollars. Update 2. Lots of people are asking me for more details on where the vase was, how I knocked it over and such. Basically, the vase was on top of this very tall cupboard in the living room. We were all drinking, some drunker than others. I was just tipsy, and I was chatting with another friend next to the cupboard, and I wanted to kinda lean into it and stuff, but I sort of slipped and instead ended up straight up bumping into it. Afterwards the vase just falls and breaks. I had no idea it was up there or how much it was worth. Friend never mentioned it until it broke and my fuck up happened. Huge update. Most of you suggested waiting a few days for both of us to cool down before I contact him. I failed to do that, and most of you said I should ask for proof of the value. So I did. I asked him to provide proof. He instead got really defensive and deflective, saying shit like, "You don't trust me? I am your best friend, and you ask for proof?" And anytime I would return to asking for proof he would always just comment like that, never gave me a no or yes. So I let it go, and spoke to my brother. He suggested that truly the best way to find out if he is legit, is to ask someone from his family, supposedly the people who this vase is really important to. And oh boy. Oh fucking boy. I contacted his brother, and said, "Hey, you know that vase your family passed to X?" His reply, "What? Mao, what you on about?" So I told him what happened, about my accident, and that I know they really care about it, but does he know if the family ever insured the vase and how much it is truly worth? "I have no idea what you are talking about. We don't have a vase. We don't even have any heirlooms, not our family's thing." Well, now I am kind of really pissed at my friend for trying to do that to me. No idea if it's actually an expensive vase. My friend is quite wealthy, so he could have gotten it for a big price, but considering he lied about it belonging to the family and having sentimental value to all of them, I highly doubt it. Update 4. I have taken all of your comments close to heart, and I realize that I am indeed a huge asshole for flat out refusing to do a thing to fix the damage I did, and instead I shifted the blame on him. I am not a good friend at all, and thank you all for pointing that out. Skeptical smiley face. I am going to wait a little bit to let him cool down. In the meanwhile I will check and find out where I could get a loan, and then when he is ready to talk and calm, I will do my best to pay back as best as I can. From his reaction it's clear that even if he did lie, that vase meant a lot to him. I will ask him about the lie. I am sure it's harmless, and then try to mend things. I don't want to lose a best friend over my selfishness and a F-king vase. You are the asshole. You're right, accidents do happen, and you should therefore always be prepared to deal with the ones you make. You don't have to pay him back, of course, but then you risk the chance of losing a friend, and mutual friends, if they side with him. Which one is more valuable to you? You will have to make that choice. Not having valuables insured is irresponsible. Storing them on the top of rickety cupboards, inviting people round and offering them large amounts of alcohol seems like very risky behavior. Perhaps your friend did this on purpose, didn't like the vase, didn't want to sell it 'cause he'd get in trouble with his family, so set up this accident. His mistake was inviting people to the party who couldn't afford to pay for the broken vase. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. No judgment, but one way he could safeguard his possessions is not inviting you over, which seems to be the direction this is going. Am I the asshole for not babysitting my ex-husband's kid? Alt account for obvious reasons. My 30F ex-husband, 32M, and I have 2 children, 4M, 2F. We have been divorced just about 6 months and he is now expecting a baby with his new girlfriend. I'm admittedly not over him. We were together 10 years, my entire adulthood. It was and is a messy split. I'm still bitter and hurt about it, and he seems to have completely moved on somehow. When we had our oldest, neither of us wanted him in daycare. No judgment, we just didn't feel comfortable. So I stayed home and eventually started my own business that allows me to work 99% remotely. My parents are also local and retired and help me out as much as they can. This arrangement works for me and I get to spend time with both of my kids. Now, ex's girlfriend is 5 months pregnant and they got in a huge fight because she asked him to tour daycares and he said absolutely not. He wants her to stay home with the baby. None of his kids are to go in daycare. Admittedly, the ones here do suck. He called me to vent and I listened, then he dropped the bomb. He asked if I would be willing to take care of their baby since I'm home with our 2 and get help from my parents, and when I have to take the kids to the office I can because I own it. He mentioned that I know how he feels about his kids in one of these daycares and I sort of lost it on him. It was a year and a half of walled-up anger and hurt, and I said some nasty things that I've since apologized for. Fast forward to 3 days later, new girlfriend pulled me to the side when I dropped off my kids to their house and asked why I was so ugly about it and why I thought my kids were better than hers and why her baby doesn't deserve the same things mine got. I never said that but apologized if anything I said came off like that. Told her I'm happy for them, I'm not pleasantries, but was certainly not going to babysit their kid. She's a nurse, so I get she can't work from home and doesn't want to give up her career, but they should have thought about that. I left before it blew up again, but ex called me about 2 hours later and asked me to come get the kids because he and new girlfriend were fighting and he didn't want them around for it. I picked them up of course, and ex texted me on the drive home and asked again if I would babysit for them for $200 per week. I said no and he called me a bitter bitch and said I'm being an asshole because I'm hurt. I don't see it this way at all. I reiterated that the request is absurd and I would not be talking about it anymore. This was yesterday, and all day today new girlfriend has been texting me and having her friends and family review bomb my business. I'm not worried about it, my clients know my work. Ex-husband hasn't said anything else but has been shorter with me in our conversations about our kids. So, am I the asshole for refusing to keep my ex-husband's new baby? Edit, update. Thank you for all the support in the comments. I probably can't reply to all questions, but I will try to answer some as I come across them while I have some free time. A few of the repeat things I've seen addressed below. It looks like Google has flagged the influx of reviews for spam, and I did call my lawyer to see what she recommends going forward. Yes, my ex was cheating with his girlfriend for some time before we divorced. I don't know how long exactly and don't think I want to know. I'm also a licensed professional, so going against her nursing license is a surefire way to make this worse. Lawyer will advise on how to proceed. I don't mind if this is shared on social media. Figured that comes with posting here. Second and probably final update for now. Google is removing the reviews. Wackadoodle and her idiot family all have the same last name, so it was pretty easy to see the reviews weren't genuine. The ones from her friends with different names were removed too because again, it was poorly executed at best. X has apologized for her behavior and apparently he is taking some time away, and she thought he was with me. I have no idea where he went after he left my house Tuesday night when the kids went to bed. He certainly is not staying here. We have only spoken to confirm pickup from swim lessons today. My parents had already planned to have the kids this weekend. X has a graduation to go to and I am going to the beach with friends. So I don't have to worry about where they're going since X is effectively homeless right now. Not the asshole. You are never obligated to take care of someone else's child. Also, if you haven't actually provided services to her and her friends, family, send a cease and desist letter. It can be defamation. Not the asshole. I don't understand how they can possibly expect you to watch their children. This is not your responsibility. Does he know that you're still not over him? Asking because it sounds like he could be using your feelings for him to guilt you into this. Stick with a resounding no. Not the asshole. It is time to get your lawyer involved and file with the police for extortion. When you said you would not care for her gremlin, she tried to take down your business. In my state, if a nurse gets a felony, no matter what it is for, they get their license suspended, then there is a review to see if they get it back. Not the asshole at all. They are lunatics for even suggesting this, let alone badgering you about it. Why her baby doesn't deserve the same things mine got. I totally agree. Your baby also deserves to be at home with its mother and not in someone else's care, so I'm glad we cleared that up, ya wench. Not the asshole. This man is playing you both. When she asked you why you were so ugly about it, it was because that is what he told her. Am I the asshole for making a whole scene in the family table that my mom ruined my cheesecake? So I'm 19 female, a pastry chef. I love my sweets to be on point as you can see them on pictures. Nothing less or nothing more. My mom, 60F, other hand keeps destroying my sweets by adding so much of everything. One time I made a strawberry cake for my grandma's birthday and she came to it to add a whole tons of whipping cream. At the end the cake was a whole disaster. It was falling apart from too much cream and I yelled her in top of my lungs that she keeps destroying everything I make. She put on the sad face saying she won't bother with me and my sweets anymore. So last weekend we were visiting my grandma, her sister too, and I made a fruit tart and a cheesecake. I put them on the fridge and warned my mom to not touch it. When we arrived, we opened the cheesecake and apparently she have put chocolate syrup all over it and the box cheesecake itself was an ugly mess. At that point I had a breakdown and started yelling her and crying saying, "Why you keep destroying my work? I am significant other fed up with you." She kept pushing it off saying, "It's not beautiful enough and it needed a better picture." I'm way home I wasn't talking her and she started yelling me that I was an asset to her in front of everyone and I need to learn manners. Looking back, I could handle the situation better but I lost my mind. In other hand though I don't want anyone to touch my creations. Am I the asshole for yelling at my mom in front of everyone? Edit 1. Thanks everyone for your advice. I know my behavior wasn't right and I feel sorry for that. I tried apologizing and point out very calmly my problem. Again she brushed my point off. I sadly don't have much money from my work so I can't move out but I'd surely buy a small fridge. Someone said I should take my results pics before my mom destroys them, which is another story that happened. I was once hired for a baptism. The man and I agreed on something after showing him what I can make. After making the sweet again, took pictures of it too. My mom took my pastry cream I had left over for something else. She remade the sweet the way she wanted. The man sadly didn't have fridge so he asked for a sweet that doesn't need fridge. My mom took the pastry cream and added cream and made it all blue. The man's kid is a daughter by the way. My ex's boyfriend mother sees what I see that my mother is envy the attention I get. My ex's boyfriend mother literally dump her because she had enough of my mother. Edit 2. Guys, I'm a really relaxed person. I'm fine if you come and advise to add something on my sweets, but if you do it without asking me, that's when I go nuts. I understand it was completely wrong of me to yell in front of everyone and in the past I have expressed how much I don't like her what she's doing. Example once again. The rose cake I made, instead of roses she wanted to add sprinkles all over the cake instead of the flowers. When I added the roses she wanted to add red circles all over it. The last I have even cooked with my beloved grandma. She kept advising me stuff and asking if it's right to add or not and I accepted her opinion. In the end the grandmother congratulated me and had fun together eating the results with a decent image. She does it on purpose. It's a power thing. It's not going to change ever. Move out. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Does she derail other things in your life that you do well, or get attention for? Meaning, is she one of those mothers who quite frankly is jealous of her own daughter? It's interesting that you are literally a pastry chef and after you've completed a masterpiece she feels the need to absolutely screw with it, when she's neither qualified nor welcome to do so, explicitly. And she knows it. Not the asshole. Your mother is not going to change. She can't, won't respect your boundary on this matter. It's worth remembering a quote ascribed to Einstein. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. You should consider alternatives to storing your pastries in such a way that allow your mother to meddle. Get boxes that you tape shut. Make them at the very last minute. Find other places to store them. Make two so that your mom has one of her own to mess up. Working for a pastry shop and storing them there. Or, in extreme, buying them and no longer making them. Not the asshole. Since your mum thinks your cakes aren't good enough, suggest that she makes the next one, then she can decorate it how she likes. Stop contributing sweets. Just stop. Or have a cooler that locks. And lock it. Your mama is crazy. Am I the asshole for not letting my nephew have the car we were restoring together after crashing my car? Hello everyone, as the title says, until recently me and my nephew were restoring a car, a Foxbody Mustang, for him to drive once he had passed his driving test. However, due to recent events, no longer want to let him have the car. Please bear in mind that I have paid for the car and the parts. Recently I went on vacation and left my nephew with a key to my garage so that he could work on the car while I was away. This proved to be a bad decision. I told my nephew that he was free to go round the garage when he wanted while I was away. Well, one night while away he decided to take my 1968 Nova that I had recently restored, costing upwards of $50,000 and thousands of man-hours, out of the garage and for a joyride around my private land. This ended in disaster as he went too fast and crashed into a ditch and rolled it, causing a lot of damage to the point that the car is now likely scrap. My nephew is fine, by the way. I didn't discover that anything was wrong till I came back from my vacation and opened the garage to get one of my cars out and noticed my wrecked Nova sitting there. As he was the only one with a key, I knew it was him. I tried to call him, but he would not answer his phone. Neither would his dad, my brother, so I went over to his house. When I got to his house, he answered the door and immediately said that my nephew was really sorry for what happened and that he was only being a stupid kid. I told him that I was keeping the Mustang unless he paid for my car that he ruined, and left. Once I got home I received multiple calls and messages from my brother and his wife saying that I was being unreasonable and that it's not fair to keep his car and that he won't have anything to drive when he gets his license in a few days and that he was only being a stupid kid. My nephew has still not directly apologized to me. He has just passed an apology through his dad. I'm still furious and I still think I am going to keep the car or sell it to go towards fixing or replacing the Nova. I also should mention that the Nova has a large amount of sentimental value as it was my father's and we were restoring together till he passed away. Everyone in the family knows this, but I am starting to wonder if this is clouding my judgment. Just to answer a few questions. I know it was definitely my nephew as I have checked my security cameras. My nephew and my brother towed the car back to my garage with my brother's truck. It wasn't very far away, probably only a mile max. Unfortunately, the car wasn't insured as I only finished it a few days before going on vacation. I have considered taking them to court, but even if I was successful, they don't have enough money or assets to pay. I have considered reporting it to the police, but I am on the fence as I don't want to ruin my nephew's future with a criminal record, but I do think that he needs to face the consequences of his actions. To be honest, the value of the Nova may not be $50,000, but that is what has been spent on it. The locks have been changed so he can't get in the garage anymore. Info. Why haven't you filed a police report yet? Not the asshole. I admire your self-restraint to not take him to court over it, to be honest. Not the asshole. If it were me, I'd be far angrier than you seem to be in the post. Honestly, sounds to me like you've kept your cool reasonably well. Your nephew not even having the guts to look at you and apologize is what gets me. What is hiding even going to do? Not the asshole. The kid wrecked your car, and expects that you'll give him another? And his parents went along with this? The entitlement is staggering, and the kid is lucky he's just losing a car and not going to jail for theft and destruction of property. Not the asshole. Tell your brother that you will send him a bill of the repair cost for the Nova and when he has paid it in full and the car is restored, you might give the other to your nephew.